Hi, I'm Dr. Kelsey Betcher. I am a chiropractor here at Elevate, and today we're talking about plantar fasciitis. Now, what is this? What is the most common symptom that people come into the clinic saying, hey, ouch, this is bothering me? And for the most part, that is heel pain or pain in the bottom of your foot. But most importantly, before we even just dive into treating that, we got to rule out some other things, because multiple things in your body can cause heel pain. It can be Achilles tendinopathy, posterior tibialis tendinopathy. You can get inflammation in your calcaneal fat pad. Even nerve roots in your lumbar spine can cause that pain or that radicular pain down into your heel. So we got to say, hey, what is this? We got to kind of rule out these other possibilities and say, hey, we're dealing with plantar fasciitis. So again, most common plantar fasciitis, people are going to tell me, hey doc, I have pain in my heel, or I have pain in the bottom of my feet. Most commonly, it hurts right away in the morning. Those first few steps out of bed, ouch, 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 kind of a penguin walk, really stiff, and then it gets a little bit better a few steps down. Same thing, sometimes when you're sitting, you can get up, first few steps, ouch, 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 and it gets a little bit better. But what causes it? How did I get this? What causes it? Many times, you went on vacation, extra walking. You did some beach barefoot walking in the sand. Maybe you change shoes, you have different arch support, you're running differently, you're striking with the front of your foot, whole different things down that route, or just in general, you've increased your mileage, and now you're experiencing some pain in the bottom of your feet. So what's happening though? Okay, so we're getting micro tears happening in this tissue called your plantar fascia. Okay, it's this really hard connective tissue that lays on the bottom of your foot. It's very, very important in strength, propulsion, recoil with running, and that arch support in the bottom of your foot. So this is very, very intricate soft tissue, connective soft tissue, very, very stiff, and it's on the bottom of your foot, and you can get micro tears at the heel, where it attaches to the heel, and those micro tears is then what starts to cause, ouch, that pain. Very important too, right away we want to hit it really, really hard, really, really aggressive with rehab, because it can be a chronic issue. When it becomes a chronic issue, type 3 collagen fibers are what start to kind of repair and rebuild that tissue, and they just don't have as much elasticity. They're very, very tense, so we want to tackle it hard, fast. We want type 1 collagen fibers to be what is helping that tissue, what is rebuilding those micro tears, because sometimes it can be a vicious cycle, repeat, if we don't get taken care of, all right? So, first few things I like to say is, hey, anytime, all the time, when I start talking about feet, the power of your feet, hey, it's the foundation of your body. You gotta have strong feet, right? Strong foundation, just as you have a foundation of a house. Some of the best things, get home, kick off your shoes. Your shoes have been most often, kind of hugging your toes all day. Get those shoes off, get those socks off. And what I want you to start off with is splaying your toes, okay? So if you take your socks off, take your shoes off, you put your foot on the ground, those toes are all likely hugging each other, all next to each other, being best friends. But what I want you to do is sitting or standing, it doesn't matter for me to start off with, is that you look at your toes, you lift them up, you try to separate them, you splay them, and then you set them back on the ground, keeping that splay, okay? I want to see carpet between each and every toe. I want to see that spacing, okay? I want your toes to become the widest part of your foot, all right? You're going to work on this. Usually I tell people just more for a minute time frame. Work on it for 2-3 minutes, okay? If you start to get cramping on the bottom of your foot, awesome. I like it. You're waking up those muscles, these tiny intrinsic muscles in your feet that need to be strong to provide that strong base, okay? So sitting or standing, you're going to take your toes, you're going to splay them out and set them on the ground and hold that for a few seconds and keep repeating. You might find out like nothing's happening, like I'm hardly getting any change when I do it, but practice it. Now, if actively isn't working, you can take your fingers, interlace them in your toes, and then just kind of roll your fingers around too, okay? So your fingers will make that space between your toes. You aren't doing it actively. You're passively getting that space there, but then you're going to kind of just roll around your toes, get some mobility in the toes, the tarsals, and even just kind of get that splay in there in a very, very easy, more mild way of doing it, okay? But 3 minutes. Take off your shoes, take off your socks, splay those toes, wake up those intrinsic muscles on the bottom of your foot, okay? Couple minutes every day. If you can do it during work, kick off those shoes and do it all throughout work, do it. Let's get that foot stronger. Second thing I suggest, lacrosse ball. Anything like this at home works. Lacrosse ball is usually better than a tennis ball, but standing or sitting, you put the ball, rest your foot on top of it, and you just roll your foot around, okay? This is how we can do some soft tissue to the bottom of your foot. Now, no, you're never gonna change the plantar fascia length. That's not going to happen. That's not the goals of this, but it's just a little bit of soft tissue work, a little bit of a neurological input, and again, getting to those muscles deep in the foot, some pressure, okay? It's not supposed to feel nice, okay, but you also shouldn't be crying either, okay? Just some pressure, some discomfort with it, but nothing, out of the park, all right? Again, spend 2-3 minutes kind of rolling on the bottom of your foot. Sometimes you can freeze a water bottle as well and roll on the water bottle. That works too, okay? But let's add that soft tissue component at home, kind of get that foot, again, woken up with the toe splay. Now we're getting some soft tissue work done in there, all right? Next up, I know a lot of you know calf raises, okay? You're gonna do a calf raise, you're gonna get on a stair, okay? I want you to be on the stair because when you lower down, I don't want the floor to stop you. So you're gonna prop up on the stair and lower down nice and slow so that you get into that negative degrees, okay? So calf raise on the stair, drop down at least 6 seconds, okay? A nice eccentric drop, lowering down. You're stretching out that posterior chain. Not everyone always needs this, but I still find it very, very beneficial. Stretch the calf, stretch the Achilles. You'll even get a little bit of stretch on the bottom of the foot as you hang out at the bottom, okay? 10 reps, drop down for 6 seconds, hang out at the bottom for a couple more seconds, and repeat, okay? Get on those staircases. Anytime you go up and down the stairs, get on them. Again, even better if you can do it barefoot, but let's do some eccentric slow lowering on some stairs as well, okay? Now, one of my favorites, okay, we've started just waking up the foot. We started doing some soft tissue. We've started doing some stretching on the posterior chain. But let's actually get some strength training in the muscles in the bottom of your foot. And one of the main muscles that's really involved in plantar fasciitis is your flexor digitorum brevis, okay? It is this muscle that goes from fascia. You have a nice little nerve that runs between the fascia and this group of muscle, okay? So it's underneath or closer to the bones of your foot, your flexor digitorum brevis, okay? So this, we're gonna get a resistance band at home, and then we're gonna put our 4 toes on the band, and we're gonna keep our big toe on the ground. So very, very light resistance. You do not have to lift up at all. You're going to lift up that band and you're going to take your toes and push them back to the ground. Lift up with the band, take your toes, push it back to the ground, okay? So now you're working your 4 baby toes while you're keeping your big toe and the rest of your foot, including your heel, on the ground, but going with that resistance band. Then you're going to switch. You're going to keep your 4 baby toes on the floor. You're going to take your big toe in the band, and then keeping your baby toes, your foot, your heel all on the ground. That big toe comes up and then presses down through that band. Up, presses down through that band. You're starting to get that muscle work and getting that muscle stronger, okay? Again, this is not going to bother your foot. It should not bother or inflame your foot. If you feel it, I want you to feel it on the bottom of your foot, not so much your toes. It should be coming from the bottom of your foot. And you're going to do, anywhere from 10 to 15 reps of this at a time as well. 4 baby toes pushing down, and then your big toe itself pushing down with that resistance band, okay? Start adding multiple components at home, get you started there. Again, multiple things can be done in the clinic, but the more you can do at home, hopefully the faster we get you healed, the better it gets you feeling.